I was in the hospital with the kids, and the doctor was a very wise lady and a good specialist. She called me in her room and she told me, "Look, Lucica, you are young, you have such a beautiful career ahead, but you're going to ruin all your life because your kids have no future. Leave them here in the hospital and live your lives, because these kids will drag you down. You might divorce. I know what I'm talking about. You don't know." For me, it was very tough finding out I have two disabled kids. But when they first came and they told me to abandon my kids, I felt I'm going to go to that doctor and eat the doctor alive. From that moment on, I started loving my kids even more. And I made a resolution that I will give my kids everything I can and everything they need. Lucica is a mother. She knows better what the kids need. And my job was just to be there for them and to support them. From this sad family experience, something beautiful started. The Speranța Daycare Center of Hope. They promote the rights of disabled kids in the world, in society. This is something Lucica started initially to save her own kids, but also to give hope to the other parents. I visited many rehabilitation centers in Ukraine, in Romania, and I understood that most of all these kids need lots of love, and besides lots of active work. Russian medicine was of the principle that rehabilitation was mostly passive. Massage, acupuncture. The patient would lie down and receive what was done to him by another person. What I understood that is a different approach from the traditional one is that the person has to fulfill certain requirements. In the beginning, the center started in their own apartment with only 8 kids. As the press of the time was saying, 2 previous teacher and army guy had opened a daycare center, first daycare center for kids. All the kids that had passed through this center are like my own kids. I remember all of them by name. Many times they used to sleep in our place. I had to take care of them like my own kids. And one would stay for the night and the other ones would cry like, why do I have to go home if they can stay? And for 4 years, me and my wife, we slept on the floor on a mattress. The kids had bunk beds and we were in the middle of them, sleeping on the floor. Following the model of the Speranța Daycare Center, about 5,000 similar centers were opened all over Moldova. Then other NGOs opened, and they also followed the model of Speranța Daycare Center. The project, which was little in the beginning, had the role of changing, first of all, the mentality of the people towards disability. The people at Speranța Daycare Center fought to prove that these people can be useful to society. This thing was hard many times to accept and understand, even for the parents. I met many parents who are embarrassed to say that they have a child with disability in their families. We also had to overcome this thing. But I always knew that what I feel in my heart towards my kid, this is exactly what my kid feels. If I feel embarrassed for his situation, he'll feel embarrassed too. I love my kids with all my heart, but I have an active love. It's not like I would not let my kid crawl on all fours to turn on the light and struggle a little bit. An active love means that you see one step ahead. And when you see your kid struggling, you see that tomorrow it's going to be a bit easier. And so on, your child will develop and progress. This way, the children from Gavrilița family not only stood up, but they even went to school. Actually, Călin was the first disabled child in Moldova to attend school. Teachers themselves didn't know what to do. That's why they wrote his name in the student's book only with a pencil. Nowadays, all the schools in the Republic of Moldova have to accept disabled kids. For me, it wasn't important that my kid's name was written in pencil. For me, it was important that my kid was there making friends, enjoying school. They used to come back from school and tell me about this colleague, this classmate, what they used to do. And he was so happy to be part of it all. It made me remember of when I was in school. Inclusive education includes adapting the school system to the needs of the child. It's not enough they cross the threshold of the school. Many times, even before our kids, I used to hear this from schools. Well, sure, you can come. It's nobody's stopping you from coming. However, for us, it wasn't enough to just come. These kids can't just come and sit there. They need their own facilities. They need a support teacher. They need an individualized educational plan. And many times we don't have this service, but we are aware that we need this service, and this is a step forward. Călin graduated high school and graduated university, and now his younger sister is walking in his footsteps. I would like to help people who are in need, to do what I can in order to see people happy. I really like to be a student in this university because this university has a more pleasant environment, more Christian, something different from other universities. My classmates help me. They're always around if I need anything. I ask my friends. It's very nice to spend time with her. She's always an encouragement. You have to go forward. When you see her going forward, it just makes you think that you also have two legs that work and you have to go forward. I consider it as a favor that I can be available to help her. And we help each other in everything. I teach her what I know. She teaches me what she knows. For example, English. She's always very careful. She always knows what I'm going through. She knows if I'm sad. She knows if I'm happy. And she always has something good to say. She keeps up with everything. She's one of the students that had studied English before, but she doesn't get bored at my class. She has a strong will, and that helps her to keep on going. The children in Gavrilița's family have a rare genetical disease. When Lenuța was 16, the doctors told her that she doesn't have much to live. That's when the family switched to a raw vegan diet, which became everybody's diet. In 10 months, her level of calcium was restored. That was the biggest problem. We decided in the beginning to help her follow this diet, but we actually helped ourselves. We all have health benefits. For 8 years, we never walked into a pharmacy, not even for a cold. For 3.5 years, while she was the Vice Minister of Social Protection, Lucica promoted and implemented some services, and especially the perspective of seeing disabled people. Whereas before, their medical papers used to say not fit for work, nowadays they encourage disabled people to find work. This is a result of the model of inclusive work system that the Speranța Day Care Center implemented. Here we see Kalin Gavrilica. This is our big fridge. Here we have different products. This is what we produce. Celery, carrot, horseradish, tomatoes, peppers. And all these things we sell. And this is how we get our salary. I'm very happy that he's so successful, and I thank God that he gave good health and a vision to my wife Lucica. So all I have to do is support them. With hope and patience, you cross the sea, and this is something we feel many times. It's as if God opened the sea for us, as he did for Moses, and we just walked through. That's how we are where we are. What this couple desires for their kids most is that they'll never have to live in an institution, that they'll have their own families and they'll live a decent, normal life. I always knew that God doesn't give us more than we can carry. If he gave us this thing, that means we can carry on this responsibility. I'm not saying a burden, because it's not a burden, it's a responsibility. It's a lesson that we learn through it, maybe more lessons. What I want to say to other parents who also have a kid with this kind of responsibility is, you are strong. That's why you have this child, because you can. You have to carry on this mission, because at the end of the day, it's a mission.